The reason they gave Cornelius Smith 100 years is because when he snitches, they gonna give straight drop life. They gonna give him death penalty. And when they give him the death penalty, they gonna tell him to tell everything and snitch on Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta and Makitas, because he's gonna get the death penalty if he doesn't snitch on Black Youngsta, Yo Gotti, and Makitas. And if he does tell on them, then they're gonna only give him life instead of death penalty. And when he gets life, looking at his previous cases, they had already approved probation for him and possibility of parole. So what's going to happen is once he snitches, they're going to take it from death penalty down to life, and then he's going to go do some time. When he sits down for the time, and he's going to go back and do an appeal to turn on the probation and parole. Once he turns on probation and parole, he's got to wait a certain amount of time before they can use that probation and parole on early release, because he's young and he can try to work and get a job even though he's a felon. So that's the game plan that Black Youngsta and that somebody's lawyer, because remember, he said that his lawyer dropped him. The CMG lawyer dropped him because the CMG lawyer knew that we were on their trails. Everybody on the internet, we the GOAT, we were on their trail quick. So he knew that I was going to be able to expose him. And so what he did was he straight drop because he didn't want to get exposed, because it would have been a matter of time until somebody sees the public info and then notices, puts 2 and 2 together. So now the next thing is that they'll probably go ahead and try to convince him to go ahead and tell everything that happened. That way they can put the storyline together and come out with an official report to send to the news, and then for the news to send to everybody. Because depending on what Straight Drop says, that is when they're going to actually give out the full story and say, here's the timeline of events, right? Because they have yet to tell us that what time Dolph pulled up. Nobody has came on and said he pulled up at this time and then he walked out of his car and went into Makita's, and then at approximately this time you can see this car Nobody has narrated the story of what actually happened while playing the camera footage with it. And so when Straight Drop tells everything that happened, because he doesn't want to get the death penalty so he can get life with probation, when he tells, then after he tells is when they're going to release the footage. But the footage is going to be only matching what Straight Drop says. They're holding the footage so they can edit it to what Straight Drop says. And when Straight Drop, whatever he says is going to be potentially not 100% the way it happened, because he's going to tell only what they're going to ask him to only snitch on what he himself went and did that day. He's not going to ask them to snitch on Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta until later, because right now the case is just for the actual death of Dolph is where the case is right now. They're gonna hit him with that RICO case later, and that's when they're gonna need him to snitch out Black Youngsta and Yo Gotti and all the CMG, and even the CMG lawyer that dropped him. The lawyer dropped him because he knew that the marshals want him to snitch on all the CMG, and including the lawyer himself. So before he gets anything leaked, he went ahead and dropped him, and he's moving. I think he moved to Costa Rica now, because if you look at him, he looks Costa Rican. He looks like he's got some sort of light skin, African and Hispanic descent mixed in it, but that's beyond the fact. But he's fleeing. Just know the lawyer knew he was about to get busted, so he dropped Straight Drop. No pun intended. Now, the Cornelius dude is about to tell on everybody who did what, as far as just the ones who got caught. He's not going to speak on the 2 other dudes that ran out the back. He's not going to speak on them yet, because those guys are actually part of the RICO case. So just like how last week Straight Drop went to court and it was for the case that he already had pending, they had to get that out of the way before they could move it to the Dolph case. Now they got the Dolph case sentencing done, they can get this out of the way and later move into the marshals, the FBI's RICO case. And when the RICO case comes is when all all these straight drop is gonna tell on Black Youngster and Yo Gotti, and all of these CMG artists is gonna get scooped up in the streets. They're gonna do a sweep again, just like how they did a sweep to pick up 300 people. How do you know that out of those 300 people, there's probably some CMG affiliates who got scooped up, and they haven't let anybody know that they technically had caught a case, and that they're using the 300 people they sweeped to snitch, to figure out the connections and to figure out leads, right? And so part of the 300 people that got snatched up, they're using some of their statements in the RICO case to say, you know, some of the people already snitched and said that they did this and that with CMG and received money to go and commit crimes and to be able to do the dirty work for Yo Gotti. So once, it's a matter of time until that RICO case comes out. And when the RICO case comes out is when everything is finally going to be resolved, but we still aren't going to hear from them the official storyline and the official footage. So we have to get anything that gets leaked. And, you know, I think it's ADT that got some part of the footage from Nikita's, but Family Dollar's corporate footage is going to be able to show some things, because Family Dollar sits a little bit back on that plot of land, and the cameras on the side of the building was going to be able to catch who came out the back door. And so we just have to wait for those warrants, and unless somebody can drop $80K to Family Dollar to get the footage. So if anybody can drop anywhere between $80K to $100K to get the footage from Family Dollar, let me know, put it in the comments and everything like that. But basically, this is how it's gonna go down from now on, is they got some of these cases started, but they're not interviewing all the witnesses, because some of the important witnesses who even got caught and they need to tell on themselves and their accomplices, they're waiting for that RICO case to really give the dirt for that. They just need to do what they need to do for this Dolph case, just so they can get everything they need to do to set up the Fed case, because the state can't step on the Fed's toes. Just know that. So whatever Memphis does can't impede on what the Marshall FBI want to charge dudes with. So they just have to go by the guidelines of what's written in the law right now for Tennessee, charge them with that, hurry up and move this case forward. And then when they get to the RICO case is when all of Memphis is going to get taken down and be able to you're going to see what happened with everybody, including the last straw was when Yo Gotti's dudes ran up to the 12's house and tried to pop him in his driveway. That was the last straw. Once that happened, the RICO case is on, because now it's the people who are is the 12 and the boys who's getting targeted. So they're gonna go ahead and take Yo Gotti and Black Youngster out for that one. So stay tuned, man. I got the hottest info that's coming out right now. Y'all ain't hearing this from nowhere else, man. So stay